Just another sunny day in Southern California.
Hey guys, this is Mocktails Are Messy, hosted by
Turner. Let's go from BB24. What is
Oh,
going on?
yes, he's a natural.
Dude, I know. I've been training for months just for camera.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
So this is Turner from BigBro24. I am so thrilled to have you in the house. You're with my favorite contestant, and Bryan Anderson's probably favorite as well.
No, I said the entire time, I was like, I want Turner has to
Dude,
win.
well, I appreciate that because you're some of my favorite interviewers. So shout out to Bryan and Ryan. Let's go.
And I want you to introduce this lovely lady.
Oh, of course. So this is my amazing girlfriend for many years. We met back in college, Megan Belmonte. I'm sure a lot of the live feed and episode viewers know her. She was edited onto a wiener in finale night.
Yeah.
So
Very,
yes,
very crazy. Hello, everybody. I am so honored to be here, and we are here sipping on these beautiful blood orange martinis
Cheers to that.
and a LaCroix.
and a LaCroix, of
Yes.
course.
Yes. And I actually am drinking a mocktail version of the blood orange martini. This is your favorite, correct?
Yes, so good.
I'm glad that you
Yes.
I guess I didn't get the big ice cube because I commented on it.
You know, a lot of people, a lot of places don't have it. So, when I ask for it at bars, a lot of times they don't have it. So when people do have it, I'm like, oh my god, yes, thank you.
I'm the least
double check.
cultured person on alcohol ever. I don't know what any of this means, but it sounds awesome.
That's
Tastes
why I
awesome,
wanted
too.
you to be on, because you're not a big drinker, and I'm trying to get out of it.
Oh well, dude, I can get you there easily. You just don't drink. It's very simple. I think the only people. I mean, I don't know. If I'm gonna get hammered, I'll drink, of course. At one of the Big Brother parties, I was wasted. But other than that, I don't just drink for fun because I don't like the taste. But you got this, you know.
I
That makes
just said
sense.
the other day, I was like, somebody was like, oh, Barbara, our neighbor Barbara, she's really interested when she lives across, and she actually comes over a lot of times for booze. And so the other day,
She's
she's
70
like in her
years old.
70s.
Oh,
Let's
love that.
go.
She used
Love
to be
that
married
for her.
to Timothy Leary, the godfather
Oh, yeah,
of LSD, whatever, the most dangerous man in America, the book about him. But anyway, so she's so interesting, and she always comes over for booze. But we came up the other day about booze, and I said something like, oh, this is really good. You can't taste the vodka. She's like, well, then what's the point? And I was like, the point is so that you feel good. I was like, I was like, alcohol tastes like poison.
Yeah,
And I
right,
was
my
like,
God.
Don't you think it all tastes like a little bit like poison? And she was like, no, I love it.
Oh my
To
word!
each their own.
I will say the other day I did drink a rum, and it was the worst thing I've ever had in my life.
Oh,
It was
really?
like a vanilla rum.
Oh, that's
oh
nasty.
my god!
I'm not.
Yeah, it was
I'm not a
crazy.
fan of vanilla flavored stuff like that. It's gross.
I don't like rum. I can't do tequila.
No.
I wish I could, but my Nana ruined it for me because I was in Florida once, and she gave me a double shot in a pool that was it was 90 degrees out with no salt, no lime. So I shot it, and it came just right back up, and I was like,
my
I will
word.
never. I was like, that was disgusting. But
I
maybe
will
I'll try it again. But.
I will tell you if it's like a reposado, like the Casamigos reposado. We did get some just in case that we were like, just in case they want to try a tequila because it's all the rage now. But the reposado does taste more like caramel and sweet. So if you ever are if somebody is trying to get you, I would go for the reposado because it doesn't taste like the older tequillas.
I think the one she gave me just was not a good
No,
one.
I will
So
throw
it was
up
a
if
really
I did
bad
a
first
shot of that.
experience, and I'm kind of traumatized. But
They do
is
say it's
so
the only
funny.
the only alcohol that's not a depressant. So that's why
Oh, well,
people
there
are
you
so
go.
keen on tequila.
Yeah.
And you don't wake up
yeah, it doesn't really give you a hangover, right?
Yeah.
I heard
Especially
that.
the good ones. So just
And
keep that in mind.
just for FYI, if you guys have any non-drinker friends, I have the Reposado fake tequila, alternative tequila. It's zero proof.
Wow.
Oh, well, I know Kyle, I think, has never had a sip of alcohol in his life. So if he needs any recommendations, that's what I'll send him.
Yes,
Has he
definitely.
left the Mormon church?
I don't know about his religious journey. I do know he read the Book of Mormon a lot in the house. That was the only book we could
so
have,
he's
the Bible,
probably
the Book of Mormon.
still-
I know he's been removed maybe a few years because he's traveled a lot, Australia, out of Utah, but I have no idea. Maybe.
I just want to congratulate you.
Me
I know.
too.
Oh,
You
I
should've
thank
won,
you.
dude.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
I am
you.
not blowing smoke up your butt with a bubble blower when I say I cannot believe you weren't one of the America's favorites because when what you did with Taylor, I think I choked up when you made that speech and the Taylor thing when someone's getting bullied because when we were watching it, it was like I'll never forget. You must remember when she comes in with that bag of Lay's and Daniel goes completely apeshit on her.
Oh,
and she's
yeah.
like,
with the lace.
Is it the lace?
Yeah.
I
And like the
know.
look on her face, I was like, oh my god.
It's just like she
these
didn't
boobies.
understand what was happening, and that was
She
the
totally
saddest
didn't.
part, because she, like, it obviously wasn't nothing that she did. It was just how people were reacting to her, and whatever caused that, it was just, really hard to watch.
Oh yeah, I
It
actually
was.
since that was one of the first clips I saw on Twitter. People sent me like a montage, of kind of what I said versus like the whole Daniel interaction. And Taylor is one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
So just seeing that, I was like, what is happening? I was asleep at the time. I was literally in my HOH room, knocked out while this happened. And like an hour after that, Daniel like busted in the door and was like, bro, I have to tell you something. I just yelled at Taylor. I need to get ahead of this. And I was like, bro, what are you talking about? Why are you yelling at people in the Big Brother house on like week 2 or 3? It was like too chaotic. And no, I love Taylor. I obviously made the conscious decision, like, I'm not going to be involved in all of this and dogpiling on Taylor.
Right.
She's a great person. Didn't deserve any of that. So no, it definitely sucked.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
was, because especially when she goes, I thought he was kidding.
Mhm.
Like, she was like, that's the part that really drove it home. When she was
Yeah.
like, because she was, I think she thought she was bantering until she was like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
that's
I
what
thought
she
he
said.
was
Because
kidding.
obviously in like leftover meetings, we would talk about that a lot because it's just like one of the iconic things of the season as far as all of us personally are concerned. Like that was just a point of contention.
Right.
So no, we talked about it a lot, and that's what she was like. She's like, I didn't know what was going on. Really, I thought this was just a funny joke.
Okay, but I have
Man,
to ask you how
that
the
was-
process was of you getting on. Can you tell us like the audition
Yeah.
tape, how many times that you auditioned and stuff? Just
Yeah,
a little bit of that stuff.
yeah, definitely. Some of it I have to be very ambiguous about, but I will try to say as
Right.
much as I possibly
Oh,
can.
do you sign an NDA about a lot of it?
Yeah, and they're kind of like, just don't keep it fun for the people who are going to get
Keep
into
some
it.
mystery.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
see.
But
Okay.
but a lot of the process is very simple. So she actually told me about Big Brother first, and this was when we were going to college. Kevin from Big Brother 19, he lives right next to our old college, Bridgewater State, and so we would see him biking by, and Megan would go, Kevin, and I was like, who is Kevin? She was like, it's from the show Big Brother, and that was 2019, so Big
Okay.
Brother 21 just started airing, and that was my first season, so I started watching. She actually said, you'd be good on this show. I
was like, we're sitting down and we're watching this because I think you'd be good at this.
Yeah.
And
You're
you're
so
like,
right.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I was like, he has like everything, like he has the character and the personality, and he would just do so good, and he's so social,
Absolutely,
so
like uniqueness.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm like, by far, like he could definitely do it.
And so then
100%.
a few years later, BB23, I applied. I made it all the way to the end, top 25, like one of the last people. Briefly talked with the casting about being an alternate, whatever happened. I know Jasmine was an alternate for BB23, so just like me and her kind of made it to the very end. And then it didn't work out. I had my bags packed, and they called me last second. They're like, hey, this season's not going to work out, but definitely apply next season. So the next season came, I was like, I don't know. I don't really feel like applying myself, and then I might have, but they reached out before I could apply.
Oh, good.
So then they
I was
reached
gonna
back
say
out.
they
to
should
me.
have been like, "Oh, we'll put you like."
No, I
why
think-
would you have to go through the whole
Yeah,
application process?
yeah, and so
That
it was very similar. It's not like I was like waved through to finals or anything. I
Right.
still had to go through a long process, but in and of itself, I was like, it'll be worth it. I love Big Brother. Just sometimes in show business, that's what they say. Things happen.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I don't mind that I didn't make it this season, and I think they fit me in better with my season. So I totally was respectful of all that.
we wouldn't have had the story either. Like that's like a whole period
Yeah.
of like when we were working on the shop and everything, we were getting everything, like us grinding every single day trying to
The
make
rug
sure it's up and
shack?
ready.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
rug shack.
The rug shack, people.
Oh, hell
Rug
yes.
shack.
Wait,
Yeah.
talk about a little bit about your business. I'm
Mhm.
so intrigued and so impressed. You guys are so young and you have your own store.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. So it's funny. Megan named the Rug Shack.
Yeah.
Before it went by
I
a
love
very
the Rug
ugly
Shack.
name. I used to call myself Gemini Carpets. I remember I was looking for.
I was like, it's not it.
I was
It's
looking
not
for
it,
an art
bitch.
Gemini
studio.
Carpet.
Dude, I
I
know.
was like, we need something better.
I was
Are you a
looking-
Gemini? Is that why?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was just looking for an art studio, and then we found like a retail space right next to a college. It was the perfect place. And Megan was like, "All right, how about this? The Rug Shack." I was like, "Oh my god, perfect!" And so that was literally right after.
So cute.
I know that was right after I didn't work out for BB23, and so then like a week later we were already starting this whole business thing, and then I think that was a huge reason why I made the next season. So it was like, oh, there's a whole other element to me as rather just an artist doing van life and backpacking, now a business owner,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I
that
think
gives
that
you
really
a whole
helped.
new dimension. 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
And I think
seriousness.
I think casting saw that and it really helped. But the business is just It's like a thrift store and art store, just called the Rug Shack, Bridgewater, Massachusetts. If you live in Massachusetts, check it out. Anywhere in New England, really, just go check it out.
Yes, and all of the thrifted clothes are hand selected too.
Yeah.
So we go out and we hand select everything because we are on a campus, so we know what college kids like and anyone else from the area. So we have a large variety of stuff, and we just know what to grab at thrift stores, so you don't have to.
Exactly, and then there's a bunch of my art, like tables or rugs or anything I make or some of my like local artist friends make. We kind of just stock it all up. It's just like a cool art and thrift store.
That's amazing.
That's
Hell
so
yeah.
cool.
So I lived in London for 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'm from
That's
New York. And
awesome.
Yeah.
I did
Don't
finance
let him fool
for...
you. He's old.
I'm in my mid-40s. Yeah,
Oh, really?
everything's
Don't look
going
a day
Oh
over
my
23.
I know. I have no work done. But
That's
amazing.
you're Italian, aren't
amazing.
you? Are you Italian
I'm-
with Belmonte?
My Belmonte's Italian
Yeah.
from my my grandfather, but I look like this because I'm Peruvian.
Oh, because you're Peruvian.
Yes.
Well, still. But anyway, so I was there for 14, and it was like right at the end of my like finance career. I knew I was gonna move here and try to do something creative, and it just so happened that I also applied to Big Brother. And so I got through the things, and I got to the final stage. They were like calling me, like it made me feel like I was, but I don't know if this is a, and I think I can say this. I don't know what I signed, but I did put. So it was the final thing, and they kept like moving me to the front. You know when you can just tell they're like Bryan. Plus
Yeah.
I'm American. I had an American accent, and I was kind of a unique. And they at the end I said that I had. They were like any like issue, and I was like, well, I do like have anxiety. Like I was like, I do like I will take a Xanax, because they were like any medications or anything. And I don't know if that like because I didn't end up making it. I was like, I wonder.
Contributed?
Yeah, like I wonder if they were like, do we want somebody that's admitted that they kind of like
That would
like
stress them
because being
out,
on that
I'm
show like
sure.
that, you have to be like. I wanted to ask you, did you have not? Because I know what's her name left, and I think she was having like high anxiety. What's her name? What was the one that?
Interior
Yeah.
designer.
And
Yeah.
like that, I could see where that could be easy. Like, are you somebody that's pretty like? Did you have moments of being like, did I say something stupid? Did I say something offensive? Does America hate me?
I definitely never had. Well, because at the end of the day, I know what I think I was representing in the show, and throughout the season, I think I stayed true to myself.
Right.
And I think a lot of people, or even some people, might have strayed off the beaten path in such a high, like pressure cooker of an environment. But at the end of the day, never was I necessarily worried. I definitely missed home a lot. That was a point of contention in my life in the house. I just miss Megan. Really, I was like, oh my god.
Of course.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
exactly.
she's so sweet.
So no, there were a few days I was going through it, like when you're a have-not and you can only eat. And you can, it's like oatmeal basically, and so then cold showers and sleeping in the have-not room. It gets worse. So I was going through it that week, but other than that, I think I had my head on my shoulders. At the very least, I won a couple HOHs, so I got letters from Megan and my mom, and that kind of was a way to see home and through a window. And towards the end, I got to see Megan and my mom on the TV.
Yeah, I remember
in
that.
And so those letters throughout the season, and it seemed like they were like spread out just every couple weeks because I won a couple. So that really kept my mind knowing people on the other side are waiting. I don't think I had too much anxiety. Again, I went through it for a couple days. Definitely whatever Paloma went through, I can't speak through because she has her own journey, and I haven't spoken with her since I've been out of the house, and so I definitely hope to. But it definitely seems like an environment where if you have like some sort of internal struggle going on or like high anxiety, I definitely would say I'm not sure about the casting process, but I feel like they know what they're doing. So I will say if they maybe get the vibe that whatever disorder you're going through would make it a worse environment for you, then I could see them writing it off, but for the benefit of the player.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even like I'm like some, it was more like if I knew like as an anxious person that I wanted to be able to take this into the house.
Yeah.
Like some Xanax. Because I was like, I could see me getting into it. No, seriously. It's not like I take it like recreation. It's like I had like anxiety runs in the family, and I was like, I better say this, but it wasn't like I've gone to doctors and like, you have general anxiety disorder. It's just something that runs in the family, so I have it, and I was like, I want to be able to take this in the house in case somebody works me into a frenzy, because I think that's what happened to Plum. I think she, and I think she probably felt maybe a certain type of way about what was going on with Taylor, and maybe she worried, like, am I being painted out as like, you know what I mean? And I could see she wasn't sleeping, and then I think she cracked.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, again, that type of environment with like, there's like, in my day-to-day, I think I'm a character in and of myself, but then I went in the house and I was like, oh my god, all these other people were like, we're competing for screen time at the beginning, all of that. There's a lot going on. So if you have all of these, like whether it's anxiety or any other disorder, it would be super tough to deal with. So when she decided to self-evict, everyone in the house respected it, and like if she made a call that maybe she felt she would have been judged on the outside for, but I'm proud that she was able to make that call and follow through with what she thought was right.
Are you allowed to talk a little bit about the confessionals? Are you guys?
Oh yeah, in the
are they
DR.
rehearsed? Do you think of the line like? Because everyone kind of like delivers these lines in a way where it's like, tomorrow's this, and if that doesn't happen, she can count her chickens. Those things are da 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 da. Like it's almost got like a melodic like, song, and it ends, and you're like, they all can't possibly speak like that. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the people going into it, it's kind of like a domino effect. You see one season, people are doing it, and then you're like, oh, I'm in the DR. Let me get into DR mode. So then, like,
so you you get into DR mode?
yeah, definitely,
just, like,
definitely.
like,
Because
okay, I'm gonna
those
say
are
it like
long
that.
sessions. You hang out in the DR, you answer some questions, and it's always fun. The people behind the camera, like, you get asked questions, and I love all of them. So.
And how was like waking up not having coffee and going into the DR? Because I know you need
yeah,
your coffee. So how was that? Because you definitely adjusted or what?
Yeah, sometimes we would like wake up at like 3 in the morning or 5 in the morning, or just wake up out of bed at like 10 a.m. and I need coffee to function. My brain doesn't plug itself in until I have caffeine, at least like 150 milligrams. So I have a serious
It's a
I
problem.
never heard the milligrams of
Yeah.
Oh my god,
caffeine.
so much. You'll see all like the Red Bulls. Like
I
you
know.
had so many. I was so
I
worried
know.
for your
Do you want
heart.
just a plain Red Bull, by the way?
Oh, that would be amazing.
Oh,
if that's
Franco, do you want to?
available.
He'll have just like a alcohol-free Red Bull.
You get woken up at all hours or and at any time. You just kind of need to be on and ready for a game conversation or ready for the DR.
Right.
And so that was a big adjustment I had to make, being able to wake up, not have caffeine instantly, and still be able to form conversations or talk about an alliance. Or like week 1, people would be like, "Oh, tell me all about your life and about your job," and I'd be like, "Oh my god, I need coffee so
Yeah.
bad."
Oh my
so I would
God,
just
that
be
makes
sitting
me-
there like, "What the
Wait,
hell?"
that makes me think of the clock one. Remember the clock one? That
Yeah.
they woke you
yeah.
up?
I was so surprised you woke up for that, but didn't you say you were like already kind of half awake?
I
for
woke
it?
up, coincidentally, divine intervention, as I would say to Monty. I woke up 5 minutes before that alarm went off. So I was just there, like, rolling around, and then I heard it. I was like, oh, okay, I'm already up, I guess.
Oh
So
my
it was
God.
just literally divine intervention, if anything, because I happened to be awake for a couple
That was
minutes
so
already.
shocking. I didn't expect Monty to not make it. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think Matthew was gonna make that.
I know, I
but
couldn't
you
believe
did,
Monty
and I
didn't
was
make
like,
it.
I was, you know,
Thank
when
you.
when he first didn't make it, did
I'll
you
go on
think
this one.
Yeah.
Megan,
Thank
you know,
you.
when he did, when Monty didn't make it at first, I was like, wait. My brain works, you know, watching all these. I was like, did Monty not make it because he somehow is going to backdoor Turner and doesn't want to play in the veto, so that he can leave it to other people and then
That
be
makes
forced
sense.
to put you up. Like I thought, if that was, but then
Maybe.
when he didn't, but then the way he slipped at the end, I was like, he did
Yeah,
seem like he was
no.
really
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to
he
make
gave
it.
us the explanation. He was like, I don't know what was aired. Obviously, I didn't see it yet. But we got this like voiceover on the thing. It was like, go to the backyard. You have 20 seconds. You have 1 minute, whatever.
Oh my God.
And he was like, oh, I thought that was like, I didn't know we actually only had 20 seconds. I thought that was it might have been for an episode.
I
And then
didn't-
so
yeah.
he didn't make it, and we heard, Monty, you are disqualified. And we were like, oh my
Oh.
word. That was like, that was actually true. But
That was
everyone
crazy.
else knew.
And
They were
al-
like, yeah, this isn't for the episode. You are disqualified. But Monty using the HOH, the lights are off. At least our lights went on, right?
Right.
So
Oh,
Monty,
right,
you have
'cause
a
he
light
was
switch in the
upstairs
HOH.
in the HOH.
Oh,
right.
right.
Yeah.
And
So,
also,
yeah.
like, his, like, I was wondering why he was, like, putting in his contacts. I'm like, just go out there with your glasses. Like, what are you doing? But
Yeah.
his vision is really bad, and I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Like, he has bad vision, so he needed to put in his contacts. 'Cause
Oh,
his
that's
glasses
why.
weren't as strong as his contacts, so that's why he, like, took that extra time, I
Also, the
guess.
next day, I was like, what? No, even that morning, I was like, why did you take so long? Even with contacts, he was like, I also had to pee. And I was like, you had to pee and you peed right
They
then,
showed
bro?
them even peeing.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, okay, it's time to get up.
Yeah.
They were, and you know, the producers or whatever, the editors are like, Monty's, routine. Or wasn't it like
Yeah.
something like that? And I was
Yeah.
like,
He's like, I have a whole
Yeah, he was.
They're gonna,
Yeah,
like-
I don't think he
I don't
actually
think he did.
realized.
Because as a viewer, did you know right away that they would be disqualified if they didn't get on there?
Like, before the episode? Or
As that
during
one,
it?
when Monty was rushing, wasn't it the very
Yeah,
end? I was
yeah.
like, oh, he'll be disqualified. Oh, you
Yeah,
knew right
for
away.
sure, yeah, I
Oh, I
thought
was
so.
just wondering. I was like, wonder what's gonna happen. But then it made sense.
They
now.
did. I remember. I don't know what other season, but they,
Yeah, they
had
did
something
that.
similar
Yeah.
to that, where like you were disqualified if you didn't make it out in time. But I think everyone in that season did. So like we didn't get to see that play out. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
So right here, guys, I have the alcoholic version, the blood orange kettle one, real blood orange juice,
Let's go.
Yeah,
go.
by Dracula. Dracula throws him.
and then
Incredible.
we got even like this fancy cocktail
I know.
shaker from our neighbor next door.
Wow,
Wow.
dude. That does look pretty
Nice.
fancy,
I
my
know,
word.
Beautiful.
I know.
Megan, I have to ask you, and
Yeah.
Ryan Frankowski, aka Franco, apologize in advance because I'm just the side chick, but I can't. I have no question.
He's like the Robin.
Were
to
you
my
crying?
Howard
You
Stern.
must have.
I love it.
When
Hell yes.
you watched him crying when it was like you and
Hold that.
Yeah.
your mom.
Hold
Did
that
you start
talk.
crying? You must have
I
started.
mean, yeah, I
crying
got
watching
super
it.
teary-eyed. I was just like so happy he was able to see me and able to see that I was okay, because I knew there was probably a million things going through your mind.
Definitely.
So to make that video, it was just like I wanted it to be perfect. I had the lighting perfect. I had the camera perfect. Like I used all professional stuff, even his stuff. So I was just like, I want it to be perfect, and I want him to know that like everything was okay. And to see that happen, to see him cry and everything, I was just like, oh my god, like it meant so much to him, and I'm so glad like he knew I was okay in a sense, because he didn't know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know what? I can't. Oh, I always remember your name, Megan Belmonte, because you always.
I would
it
say
was
it, dude.
a
I
good
praise
ringtone.
Megan
It was with my
Belmonte.
beautiful girlfriend. I've got this beautiful girlfriend, Megan
Megan
Belmonte.
Belmonte.
Yes,
Beautiful
and
girlfriend,
I
Megan.
honestly, I need to thank you for that, because literally all throughout my whole life, people say Megan Belmont.
Yeah.
So now it's like
I've heard that.
it's all in the clear. It's Megan Belmonte. There's an E at the end. Like please say the E.
Yes.
So now everyone says it. I'm like, thank you. Like, that's
I know.
it's
I
awesome.
think it is part of him too. Cheers, and I'm gonna
Yes,
show you guys
cheers.
right now.
Cheers
I have
again.
the.
Do you want a
Mocktail.
glass for your Red Bull?
No, I like the can.
Do you?
I'm a
Okay.
can guy.
You're a good guy.
So right now, this guys is my favorite vodka alternative, apple vodka. So
Oh,
you
wow.
know, clearly, like I would prefer to have a plain vodka for a blood orange martini, but this is all that they had.
Wow.
But
my
it's
God.
called Clean Co.
It's
It's
cool.
an alternative to vodka.
Wow.
That's
So
dope.
it's like it's kind of for the people that might be struggling with like, you know, alcohol addiction.
Yeah, that's
or
awesome.
Even like
Yeah,
maybe it's just somebody that wants to take a pause from it, like myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like it was taking me down, not to like turn past, but I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
you feel the same way being in that house for 9 months, and you're like, what
3
else? Oh, it felt like 9 months.
It did feel like 9 months. It felt like 9
Oh
years.
my
Did you
God,
say
it
9
felt-
months?
yeah.
He's like, not man.
It's like
So
3
long.
months.
3 months.
Yeah.
So tough.
And so yeah, but you know how it can be like whenever you're in pandemic mode and you're just like, oh okay, I'll just like have another bottle of wine tonight, or
yeah.
it's like what else is there going on whenever we were going through the pandemic, and I feel like having that like pause on it is really, you know, purposeful and helpful for me, because I was just going down like, oh okay, like we'll just drink like every weekend, and then it became like every Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so it's nice to have a pause, and like you too, like yourself, like you would rather have caffeine.
Yes, definitely. No, yeah, I mean,
By the way, we also have an espresso in there, so if you want...
all of it, any form of caffeine, I will
That's
take
a
it.
lot.
I'm
say
gonna,
no.
all right, I'll make you an
Never say
espresso.
no.
What do you want, a cappuccino? Or you can even do it like with
Wow.
the foam. It even has
Dude,
like,
yeah,
foam.
send it
Fancy.
for
Oh
me.
my
That's
goodness.
incredible.
No, I'm all set. I
You're
actually
good.
don't drink caffeine.
Let me do that
Oh
for
my
you.
god.
We are like
this is
the opposite.
crazy.
I don't really
Yeah,
drink ever.
that's
She
funny.
doesn't drink much caffeine.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
so funny. So I connect with you so much because I not only am obsessed with caffeine.
Yeah.
I was always growing up, and I was just like, I don't really like fit in like one way or the other. I was really into all these girls in like high school, and like I had multiple girlfriends, but then I was just like, I don't know what it was in college. Like I gravitated towards this guy, and I was like, it threw me. I was like, what? I don't know why I'm feeling this way, and I'm like, does that mean that I'm like totally gay right now? And I didn't feel it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know what, because growing up, like you didn't have a representation of like a male that was fluid, because I think with women it's very acceptable, and I think that I always knew.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
know. I feel like it is, but what do you feel like, since you're a female? Like you know that it just like wouldn't be a problem if somebody like found out that you were like fluid or into both.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I'm just straight. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like anyone should be able to express themselves no matter what they are and who they like and everything.
Yeah.
And no one should, you know, have hate towards that. And it was really great to have him on, because it was just like, no one got to see, you know, a bi person in Big Brother. The amount of messages I got on his Instagram, it was just like, he helped so many people, and so many people were so
Definitely.
comfortable to come out, and that, you know, meant to the world to so many people. So for him to help a
Yes.
lot of people do that,
Oh, totally.
it meant so much. Like
And-
it was really great.
And it's impressive because I know like whenever I was like out of a relationship and I started to date girls again, they were not comfortable with the fact that I had dated a guy in the past. Kind of like that one Sex in the City episode, which I guess you guys are probably too young.
I know my mom used to watch Sex in the City. I wish I was more cultured, but I'm down to hear a reference.
Too. Yeah.
There was this one where the main character, Carrie Bradshaw, was like so into this guy and everything, and then he was like talking about his past, about like dating girls, and
Thank
then
you so much, my boy.
he said Mark. And he was like, oh yeah, what about, and then like, you know, Mark was this guy, and then she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that, but she was also 45 and he was like 35.
Oh,
wow,
so she was like, I think it's might be like the generational gap.
Yeah, no,
You know what I mean?
I feel like even on the generational gap, everything like from it always changes, and I feel like society's getting more open with almost everything. So yeah, definitely happy to help open up the floodgates to any Big Brother players or any people on TV personality. I definitely, since being out of the house, have got told a ton of times and seen on a ton of stories and posts, because I've been like glued to my phone because it's just like a world I have been cut off from. So I've seen like everything in the past couple of days, and I hear a ton of positive messages, and I'm happy if anyone watching is someone that I've helped along their journey, then I'm happy to, and peace and love. That's why I say it every single day in the house. Peace and love.
I love that. I love peace and love. That was like real talk.
Hell yes.
Yeah, like I remember when you said like, oh, I haven't seen anyone on TV, and I was like, he's right. Like, we're trying to think, but then like, wow. So Michael, you know, he came for you saying like, oh, you just use that as a way to like whatever.
Oh, I don't
my friend,
remember that.
yeah, my friend Tammy, who's like also
okay.
one of my best friends, Tammy. We talk about it. It's so funny. We'll go back and forth with voice notes on our thoughts, and she's like, "Did you see at the end, Michael was really trying to, you know, sway the jury not to vote for Turner if he did get in."
My jury management was pretty bad.
He must have been really pissed that he thought you used that.
Yeah,
and I just thought that like you should be able to say like how like that, because I know that wasn't your plan to backdoor him. That
definitely
was Monty's, and you even said like. Monty,
even when Monty, I don't know if it was.
You better make sure that this is working if you really want to do this.
I
heard, it was so rushed, you didn't even have time to think about it.
I know that wasn't my plan for the week. Was genuinely to get out Brittany, and I did tell Michael that the week before. So I was gunning for Michael earlier on because he was so good, and behind the scenes because it was like there was a lot going on, and then I told Michael this, and that was very true. I didn't want to gun for the only person represented by my own community in the house, and when I realized that, kind of like how Taylor didn't want to boot out Jasmine on her HOH week, I totally understood, and I totally respected that at the time. Even with Jasmine being my target, I was like, that makes sense and totally awesome.
Yeah.
But when that happened, it was definitely rushed, and I was like, in the game, you consistently have to battle between a personal move and a game move, and while that was very personal for me, and I just had to pick, I was like, all right, I either don't kick out Michael and I'm a bad player, or I either go back on my word to Michael and I feel like a bad person. And I was like, at the end of the day, we are playing this game, so I do need to do what's better for my game right now, but it definitely weighed on me personally, because that wasn't a move I planned to make that night.
You
and
definitely
when Monty,
didn't. I think if he watches it back close to you didn't, but like at the same time, he's a good player. Like
exactly. I had to do it.
Of course, he had the target. He was like killing every single.
If I didn't, it would have been
an idiot tonight.
I would have been an idiot. And
he knew. When he was talking to Julie, he was like, "Yeah, that was they made the right move."
Yeah,
and it's just like. That's how it went.
That's
just
how it goes.
And
everybody, I think, just needs like a day or two to settle down and say, it's a compliment if they get you out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want somebody to be like, oh, let's just take Bryan to the end.
Yeah, right.
He's useless. You know what I mean? He hasn't done anything, so I want to take him down to the last.
I was worried that Brittany was gonna get to the second person. And
that's what I was worried.
She was making me nuts too.
When Monty was yet to
I don't know if that's what we were worried about.
I mean, she just made me nuts with her. I love. We gotta talk. There's a moon thing. Zingbot.
Oh my
I thought that
God,
was fucked up. What they did about Michael.
We only have an hour left.
That was
Michael's
crazy.
thing was so wrong. Your face to Michael. Remember?
Michael's
Megan?
a great looking guy. I was surprised.
I thought he has a great smile and everything. How could you attack his face?
That
That's so wrong.
That was kind of messy.
It was out of pocket for sure, but I was like, I was very surprised. I was like, Michael's a great looking dude, and he's a nice person. So I was like, damn, Zingbot, okay. And if he's going with that with Michael, and I was like, I thought if anything, he would roast us all on how good Michael is, and be like, Mike, see you in All Stars, everyone but just Michael or whatever. I don't know. That's the route I thought he was going to take. So I was like, if he did that to Michael, what is he going to do to me?
Oh my
God. So
God.
out of left field. I was just
know.
where
it was
did that
out of
come
left
from?
field, and it was so unnecessary. It's like attack
Yeah.
somebody's like CBS. I wouldn't think CBS would even want something.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I could diss him on is he's like really nerdy.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
guess.
only
But
diss
he's
I
got
could
that
do.
great toothy smile, which I love. I love when people have those big teeth and big smiles.
Yeah.
I just thought he was like, but like, I thought his exit was really poor when he was like, one thing.
I thought it was
just like,
iconic. You didn't like that?
I
was
didn't
so
love it
funny.
because I thought like I would have liked it if he didn't seem as nervous as he did. But you know, how do you?
He
in
did
that?
seem
So I was
nervous.
like,
It was
you
a
have to be
crazy
few
super
minutes,
confident to
yeah.
do that, like to walk out so nervously. And I just thought to myself, dude, you're the strongest player in the house.
Yeah.
They're gonna get you out. It's just, and I actually was really upset because I did. It's weird how I want you to win and then I want somebody who's a strong player not to get fucked. You know what I mean? 'Cause
totally.
I'm like, as sweet as Alyssa's, I know she. I remember how she tried to give you the ultimatum about like, I won't be your friend anymore. And I did think that was
So
poor.
good.
a
That
poor
definitely
way
I
of
did
going after
not
this.
love
It's the
because
best
Alyssa is one of the coolest people. I was hanging out with her all summer. Clearly, definitely my best friend in the house. I was with her all the time.
God.
Yeah, and so just like that, I was like, damn, I'm almost offended right now. Why? Like I didn't like
to
that.
put that me up. She was desperate though.
Oh yeah, totally, and understandably so. When you are on the block, I was like in a lapsed blocky, I'll say, for like 8 days, I think, my total time on the block,
Yeah.
and like Dire Fest when I was on the block, that was a stressful day. Then obviously Terrence took me down, but then when I was going against, I know,
It's so funny. That was a stressful day. And then Taylor like on the block 5-6 times.
yeah, no, definitely.
No,
For-
but I'm not
Yeah.
injustice.
Yeah, no. I mean, I can only imagine what someone like Taylor's going through because I was on block for one day. I was like, oh my god, how am I? How do I like? And especially I was outside in like the 100-degree heat, and I was like, I was just felt like I was
I
dying
could
that
see
day.
it from your face how miserable you were, and I
Yeah.
mean it makes sense. But like
Totally.
just being on the block, even outside,
Yeah.
add on
Yeah.
that.
So then
Oh my
it was
God.
like
the bugs and everything.
I know every decision in that house feels like your world at times. So then when I was taken off the block, I was, oh my god, I was elated. I was like, oh, I'm happy to be at Dire Fest now because I'm off the block.
Right.
So yeah, no, every little thing just feels like your whole. It's like a relationship when you're in middle school. Like it's everything to
Oh,
you, right?
yeah.
It's like every
Yeah.
single little decision you're making in that game because you're cut off from the outside world. It's like that is your life right then.
Yeah.
I was gonna-
By the way, Megan, thank you for this new drink. I will be obsessed with it. It's so
it's
good.
good.
I cannot taste any alcohol, by the
It's
way.
amazing, right?
It masks
it's my,
all the
my
alcohol
go-to
flavor.
when people have it.
Can we talk about that? What made you start to be like a blood orange martini girl?
Well, I worked at a restaurant for a while, and they would always serve blood orange martinis. And after work, I would always have one because I always wanted to try it, and it looked cool. So I was just like, ooh, like this is nice. And I love orange and citrus and all that. So it's just I gravitated towards it, and I don't know, it just tastes so good, and it's very underrated. Not a lot of people like go for it. I'm like,
I know.
it's really, really
I
good.
know. I feel like you guys are the cool kids, and like like you're the younger generation. Okay, definitely blood orange martini.
And
is
also
a
these
thing.
glasses. Oh my goodness, they're
Thanks
beautiful.
shout
yeah,
out to
that's
Barbara.
Yeah.
Yes, Barbara. Look at it. Ooh.
Alyssa,
Mm-hmm.
what Denmark?
Denmark.
No.
She said Newark.
Worse than
Oh,
Denmark.
yeah,
Worse
that
than
was
Denmark
one.
was when she asked if
Oh.
New England was a state.
Yes, that
Not
was
to
pretty
get
incredible.
messy, but
I
I'm just
don't
like,
get it.
I can't imagine what that would be like. But I guess she's kind of adorably cute that you can just be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, I think everyone definitely had their quirks about them, and I thought it was hilarious when I was talking about New England all the time because I'm from Massachusetts. That's where my
Yes.
store is and everything. I have a lot of pride for New England, Vermont, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maine,
Right.
all the whole gang.
Right.
And no, when I was talking about New England, she's like, "What's New England, a state?" I was like, "Alyssa, come on."
How does
New
she not
England
know
state.
at least
It was
the
pretty
state?
incredible.
Yeah.
It was.
I feel bad. I hope
It was
that's not going to
impressive, if
screw with
anything.
her. Like, but I just hope people. It's not going to screw with
He's
her
got a
life
good
in terms
way.
of her
It's
intelligence.
impressive.
Oh no, she's a super smart girl. Whether it's socially or about anything other than geography,
Just
no, she's
geography, it's just
incredible.
her week.
Yeah, funny enough,
Yeah.
maybe something just doesn't connect there. Like I'm pretty bad with like names, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not names of states. I'm specifically pretty good with that, but you know, teach their own.
No,
right?
everyone has it. Listen, I'm terrible with directions. I mean, I
Mhm.
lived in New York City
He
for
really
12 years,
is
and I would
bad.
walk out sometimes and be like, okay, which way am I going?
Oh yeah,
Which
I
way
know,
am I-
yeah, I'm pretty similar.
Uptown and downtown. I'm
Yeah.
terrible. Like, and I admit it, and I'm like, you know, I was like, you know, I'm a smart guy that, like, you know, graduated, taught my class, but, like, directions, I am challenged. I don't have that gene, and I admit it. And I think it's great to have weaknesses. Like, I think nobody...
Oh, yeah, totally.
You don't want somebody that's, like, they're just
I don't know if
arrogant
it's great, but I think it's just like always better to just be like.
No, but it makes them
not
more
a jack
human.
of all
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's-
It makes you
yeah.
more human.
Yeah.
But I think it was just like when she was talking to Kyle, that he was like, "So you want to go to?" He's like, "So you want to go to London, right?" And she's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "London." And he's like, "In English." She's like, "No, London, France." And he's like,
Oh
he's
my
like, is
God,
it in
London,
France?
France.
And she's like, London, France. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
my
wait,
God,
that-
how is that
I
possible?
love the idea of gaslighting someone based on geography. It's like, no, New England is a state.
Yeah,
Trust
yeah,
me, trust me. Like, no, London, France, specifically.
Right.
France, London, France.
Yes.
Yeah, that is crazy.
The Zingbot was so insane. I still want to think, like, they really nailed it with Britney's laser eyes.
Oh
That
my
was
God,
that
that
was
was
pretty
horrible.
iconic. Yeah, that was pretty wild. There was like the unsung tale of Britney's eyes, and then yeah, no, I definitely was familiar with that since day one.
And
so.
she was like, I didn't even know. She was like, I didn't know that. Like, are my eyes really that
and
bad?
meanwhile, they're like this. She's like, "Are my eyes that bad?" I'm like, "You're doing it right."
Nobody would ever probably tell her, like, you've got
No.
crazy
No,
eyes.
it'd be so
Yeah.
out of pocket to even say that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it'd be like, what the hell? I thought her BB comic would be like a laser-eyed BB comic, but
Was it not laser? I thought it was focused
Brit
on her eyes.
Lee,
Oh.
which,
Oh
which,
my
hey man,
gosh.
yeah, they did some
I
people
thought-
dirty in those BB comics.
Oh my
Wait, was
God,
yours something
they
about
did.
hygiene or is it, what was yours?
Oh no, mine was just rug of war. It was just a tufting
Rug
gun.
of war,
in my-
rug of
I
war.
loved mine.
You did have
I didn't
dirt
know
all
if they
over
were
your
gonna-
butt.
I was, yeah, I
It
was
was
just
dirty.
dirty head to toe.
It was
but
dirty.
at least they fit it into being like war themed. Like I'd been through it.
He was,
So-
yeah, he was there. I think because I even remember they showed it where you're like, dude, you're like, I took a shower today. I'm just dirty. I thought that
Yes.
was genius. Like,
Yeah, right.
I got dirty between my shower and
Yes,
now. Like,
exactly. It was like
Exactly.
specific. It's Pooch. I guarantee Pooch started this whole entire dirty me thing.
I was
because-
gonna
yeah.
say.
oh my god! By the way, I have to get it out of my mouth that he always attacks me because I do go I shower every other day. I'm
Is
like,
that what?
I didn't do much.
Who has
Like,
the
what do
time
yeah,
to be
like,
showering
I don't
every
feel
day?
Like showering. What do I
Yeah.
gotta clean? Like I've been
Granted,
sitting around.
I think towards the end of the season I was converted. I started showering every day, and now I do shower every day. So if I pulled anything from Big Brother, I don't need to win. I just need to walk away with the fact
But
that I
Megan,
now
you
shower.
care that he doesn't shower every day? You don't care.
I'm not, like, dirty.
He's not dirty. He smells wonderful. Like
Yes.
even a lot of the
Like
house guests said
pheromones
he
and
smells
stuff, it's
really
good. It's like their
but
natural
think-
smells. Like a lot of
I
people
think
love
what
that.
really
yeah.
started it, along with the Pooch thing, was like there was a picture on Twitter or wherever it was like your foot compared to Jasmine's shirt, and it was
Uh-huh.
the same color, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
same brown color,
Mhm.
and it was just like everyone was like, "Look how dirty his feet are! Oh my god, he needs
Oh.
to shower."
Specifically, also that was because I walk around barefoot a lot, and the tarp it's
Yeah.
black underneath the
Right.
And
or
everyone
the,
else had
the
shoes. for
turf.
the most part.
The turf, yeah, it was all black. So like, no matter what, if you walk with your bare
It's-
feet, your feet will be blacker than a minute.
I feel like
so,
any floor. If
Yeah,
I'm walking
exactly.
barefoot, my feet are always dirty. Even like
Yeah.
we'll clean these floors. I'm like, I don't know, we didn't clean good enough because my feet are like, I got black on them.
Yeah, that just added to it though. It was
Also,
like
like-
dust.
when
yeah,
I was like
it's everything.
backpacking in Bali, I would wear chacos 24/7, and sometimes I think I went barefoot for a month straight in Asia one time, just walking around the streets. And so I don't know, I was
crazy.
just
So
like,
cool,
this
actually.
is nothing compared to what my feet
And
used to
there
look
are
like.
times, I don't know if you know this, but there are times where like you, Alyssa or someone would be like, "Don't let Turner on my bed because his
Oh,
feet are
Indy would
dirty," or
always say
Indy,
that. And
yeah.
one time,
Yeah,
one time I
really.
was specifically tucked into Indy's bed, and I was talking with like I think maybe Michael and Alyssa, and we were all in all three of the beds. Indy walks in, and she's like, "Turner, get out of my bed!" And I was
Oh my
like,
God.
I was like, "Oh my god!"
Indy.
And then when I left, she was like, "Alyssa, why did you do this to me?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she didn't. Megan, right? You agree that she didn't really get much airtime. She didn't do much.
Indy
at
did it?
all. Indy was probably got
She
the
had
least
few-
amount of airtime.
She had
I
few
know.
words in the diary room. Like it was very, very few. And
I
I
would've
wanted,
loved to
I
see
wanted to
those.
expect a little bit more, but on like live feeds and stuff, she was just, she was there to have a good time.
Yeah,
That's
and she
what
did.
who Indy was.
She definitely raised like
So she
even
did-
yeah. You
Sorry.
go?
Well, she just didn't have like a lot of like drama aspects, so that's why I feel like we didn't really see a lot
That's
of her
the thing.
because she was just there to have fun and like to meet new people and
Yeah, exactly.
Just
She,
be
she
yourself.
had no like strategy or anything.
even-
she was like, I'm just gonna hang out.
Even
Yeah.
her in the house versus like afterwards, I was like, oh, dude, there's like a life missing, and it was Indy. She was definitely fun to have in the house. Sometimes I was like, oh, sometimes with everyone, I was like, Jesus, oh my God, I'm dying right now in this house. But when she was gone, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm missing a hole in this house, the shape of Indy, because she was so fun.
with her little like cutouts.
Yeah.
She'd always grab these like tight things with like a little
I know.
slit cutout
Yeah.
or whatever. I was like, it definitely
she was
like
so
she
cute.
had her
Her
own
matching
fashion.
sets, her
Yeah.
matching sets were I think were adorable.
They
And her
were
flip flops,
really
like oh,
Yeah.
It sounded
so cute.
Whoever made
Yeah.
all of those outfits, because they were sort of the same designer, I would say,
Mm.
probably got some good promotion.
Oh, I think the
Yeah.
name of it was called Green Pacha.
Is that? Oh, really?
Yeah, because I wore
Is it
one
a
of the
friend
hats.
of hers that designed it?
Yeah, I wore one of their
That's
hats one
why.
time, and I see it all over. It was like a farmer hat, and I was like walking around and called myself Farmer Turner for a week. But either way, I know.
Pacha.
Shout out to Green Pacha.
Shout
'cause
out to
Added
Indy
Green
loves
to
it.
the
Pacha.
list of names you were called.
Yes,
Green
exactly.
Pachi. Can you spell that?
No, Green Pacha.
Pacha,
Green
green,
Pacha.
and then Pacha.
Okay,
PAC.
cool,
And
cool.
yeah, I was consistently like, where did you get this? She's like, Green Pacha. So
That's
shout out.
awesome.
Yeah.
But going back to the diary room,
Mhm.
did you know when you were kind of complaining about this one, Jasmine. Did you know that she was not or was going to see that whenever she was in the jury house?
Oh yeah, does the jury house see the whole episode that we see? Yeah.
Honestly, I have no idea. I never made it to the jury house. Luckily.
Yeah.
And
So-
you guys didn't talk about it.
Oh, not yet. No.
okay.
Yeah, because I'm thinking to
wondering.
myself, if he's complaining about her, he must know that she's not going to see this while she's in the jury.
I don't think they see episodes when they're in the jury house because
Yeah.
they have to make their own decisions based on like what happened with them in the game, and that's why I think the
Right.
benefit of like individuals coming 1 week at a time, so they can say, "Oh, here's my perspective." The next week, here's my perspective.
Yeah.
No, but you know when they do come, they do say like, "Oh, here," and like see what.
I think they watch a comp in a.
Is that all?
in a
That's what I was
meeting.
asking. Is it
Yeah.
just
How they
comps?
got
Okay.
eliminated.
They
Yeah.
just show the
That
action.
makes
I think what happens
That's
to,
what
like,
you said, Frank. You were like, I think it's just the comps.
Yeah.
They don't get to see.
I think
all
they
the
do like a
little-
surprise reveal of like, "Hey, who do you think is going to be next?" And this is just what I think. And then it's like, "Oh, surprise, it's this person." And then they walk through the door, and then they're like, "Who wants to see how I got here?" And just show a comp in a meeting, and then like the veto or whatever.
I thought at the end it was so funny. I was like, did anybody else pick up on how funny it is? When Julie Chen was like, it was like the finale episode, and she's like, "These are the jury." She's like, "These 4 people did not make it to the jury, but they luckily got to watch the entire season from home."
What
That's
was
how
it?
she
I don't even
introduced
know.
the, like,
That
the
was
early
so
people.
sad.
She goes,
Yeah.
"These 4 people didn't make it to the jury house, but luckily they got to watch the entire season from home."
That's incredible.
And it
Hell
almost
yeah.
sounded like sarcastic, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Does she realize that sounds
They're like, oh,
hilarious?"
yeah.
Luckily,
thanks a
yeah,
lot.
I'm sure they all loved watching it from home.
Oh,
Which
for sure.
also brings me to, I know he was your boy,
Are we talking
but
about Pooch?
Megan, be honest with him. Watching, leading up, I was so happy to get Pooch out there because all his clips, he was
Oh, you
just,
don't want to tell
"I'm
us
the
his
man,
best
look at
friend."
me, you ain't getting
I
me
mean,
out of the
there's a
house."
reason
He
why
was-
people say pooch yourself.
Yeah,
It was a
that's
big thing.
right.
But he was so confident, but it was like, God, if they didn't get him out, like, who could endure any more of that, like, kind of bravado and, like, you know what I mean?
It's
it was
so
just
funny,
like,
yeah.
he was probably super sweet, but, like,
I
I
think
was like, this guy is so full of himself that I am dying for him to get out. I'm
I
so
will
happy.
say it's funny you say that. I mean, again, I was in the house. I will ride for Pooch till I die.
Yeah,
I
no,
love
that's why
that
I'm
guy.
scared to even mention that to you. 'Cause I was like, I don't want him to eat me, but as a viewer,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying
as a
what
viewer, we
you
have
got-
different perspectives.
Of course, like what you got would be different, but I want to know what Megan thinks. What did you think of Pooch up until?
I mean, I loved Pooch the entire time, honestly. Like, yeah, it was, it was a bit much, like, when he was, when you thought he was mad at you and stuff like that.
With the
I was
cookies?
like, yeah, I was like, that's a bit much. Like, he was kind of, like, going a little over the top and stuff. So, when he was out, it was kind of just, like, a nice little calming thing. But a lot of times, like, people did the same thing, like Daniel,
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Daniel
yeah.
was so annoying, and I know you're friends with all of them. So guys, on this thing, please know that we know that
Well,
they're friends, and
I-
like it's
well,
just as
I don't
I'm
know
coming
about,
at it
I
from
don't know
a
about
viewer.
that. I
Oh,
have
maybe
specifically seen Daniel outside the house, and apparently he went in on me. So I don't know about where I stand with Daniel.
Wait, what did you hear? Tell us everything.
I just know that I see YouTube thumbnails all the time, and it's like Turner gets shit on by Daniel in Instagram Live, and then
A
he's
lot of
calling
them
him
are
like an
pretty
idiot,
bad.
and like
Really?
and
Yeah,
he's
I didn't
going
watch
in
a
like-
lot
He
of them, but-
scared me. He actually really did scare me, and I'm not just saying that to
And
be
then-
joking.
yeah.
I was like, I feel like he is gonna.
And
like,
then he's
break.
and then
I
he's
said
yelling
that I
at.
think he could be a
yeah.
serial killer. I
He-
said he's got the
Oh.
makings of a serial
Yeah.
killer.
No.
He goes to one
Oh,
extreme.
no.
Okay, well,
That's really what I said.
I'm
just
in
telling you.
between everything. Where not to offend
He's
him,
like
but
neutral.
yeah,
Like,
like
what do I do?
seeing that he did yell at Taylor. He was out of pocket a lot. He was like, I don't know. And he has his own journey to go on, and he's older than me, so maybe he has a different perspective based on his own life. But I did
Yeah.
he did do some things I never would do, and clearly no one else in the cast did. Like whether it's like just yelling at Taylor consistently or getting on IG Live after and just shitting on the cast, and it's like, okay, dude, what are you
It
doing
was
right
so
now?
pathetic. Even when he was like, "You all know that you can't split the money." I'm like,
Yeah,
you
I remember.
fool. Have you never heard even the Lions on the show?
I
Like,
know,
What are you talking about?
I know. Yeah, and
You
so
sound so stupid.
yeah, so it was crazy, but
How about Nicole at the end when she like you could see her on the TV? I know you guys. Well, you saw it.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, tell
She's
him.
like, oh no, you were in the audience. So Nicole's like talking to Taylor. You
She
don't see
rushes
her face.
right up to Taylor.
She's like holding her hands, and you could read lips. And Taylor was like, "It's okay.
I'll be your
friend.
friend."
I'll be your friend."
mm,
At the
Taylor's
end, whenever
just
she
like
hugged
that.
her, yeah.
Taylor's just
But
like
Nicole
that.
Yeah.
clearly regret must have gotten out,
She
and they were
felt
like,
so bad.
"You were
Yeah.
a bully. You were so fucked up to Taylor, and she must have just been like dying to get
And
him."
she,
Yeah.
yeah, and she definitely knew how much America loved Taylor. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh
like,
my
everyone was
gosh.
rooting for her, and to
Yeah.
if people bash on her, that people would hate that and attack them for it. So
Right.
and I think that I will say, if I was going to give any plausible deniability to anyone, that house is such a unique environment where stakes are so high, and if you do have a little bit of like anxiety going in, maybe it's just boosted in the house. And so luckily I stayed true to myself the whole time, and I didn't ever do any of that.
No.
But like,
no, you never made a fool of yourself. Honestly, you never
Thank
did
you. I appreciate
anything
that.
that was
agree.
like, oh,
Like,
Turner just.
And I
let
thought
him
we were
start down.
going to at some point, like everybody does, because you're just witnessed
Yeah.
all day, every day.
Wait, tell them what did we were like going to record it. What did Taylor tell us? It's so funny. I remember at the end.
Oh, what
It was
was
right
that?
after hooking up with Monty, and then Megan remembers. Monty crunches her because, you know, he's basically talking about how he misses his godchild for the last. It's crazy to see your godchild over a year, and she's like, "Well, you didn't really see him over a year, but
I do
whatever."
remember
and
that.
then he tells her he's not sleeping in the room, and then all of a sudden it cuts to her, and she goes, "It's time to tag Cole Taylor back in and take home that bag."
Oh, that's funny.
It was so
Yes.
funny.
Yes.
Franco started dying, and I was like, "Franco, that was funny, wasn't it?" We were around it, and we were like, "That was hysterical."
Mhm.
And take home that bag.
Oh my god.
Bag of cash.
It was so funny though, because I was watching like their whole Monty and Taylor upstairs in the HR room, because I was, always watching the live feed. So I was watching a specific time where I thought Alyssa was gonna interrupt them. Like, I thought she was gonna catch them in the act before anyone knew anything, and I saw her going up the stairs, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's happening! Oh my god, oh my god!" But then like Monty saw her, and they were like, "Okay, let's separate." And then she walks in, and she was like, "Oh, is Turner in here?" And Monty's like, "Oh, he's not in here." Like, "Oh, I thought he might have been in here." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And she went back downstairs, and I was like, "Oh."
I mean, she definitely
covered
commented
it
on
up,
it
I mean.
afterwards and was like, "Well, she slept in there for the last 3 nights." Like, she definitely.
I mean,
knew
like,
what
a lot
was
of you
going
really didn't notice.
About the Monty and Taylor thing?
Yeah.
Well, I was in the car room, so I noticed.
And you
because
slept
he
in
wasn't
really
there
late,
anymore.
too.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I was like, oh, he must just have came to bed after I did and then woken up before I did. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
then one time it was like 5, and I was like, I know something's up. But but then me and Monty talked about it, and he was just like, oh, yeah, I'm pursuing my relationship with Taylor outside of just a friendship. And I was like, hell yeah, man. I mean, I was like specifically worried. I was like, dude, I don't like BB21. It was like Holly and Mickey. And Nicole was the third. I was like, well, I don't want that to be our final 3 because we had a final 3. And I was like, well, dude, I don't want to be just the odd one out of this just because I'm not in this. Right. So, but I was happy. If like Monty's one of the best people I've ever met, and same with Taylor. So if they were gonna pursue, if they were gonna pursue a relationship, I was happy for him at the end of the day.
I actually wish I just think. I actually really I was really into Taylor. I just wish Monty won because I thought he played the best game, and I just think it should always go. At least over her. I think you should have won.
Thank you.
I wish he would have taken you to the 2.
He would have
told me
beat
that
me.
you spoke to people. And
He would have beat me, but I would have also like
why
second
would
place.
Why would he have beaten you? Why are people telling you that?
Well, I just like I don't even know how to properly manage a jury. Maybe I need to watch other seasons, but people were equating me to like Paul, who like did really good in the game, but just could not manage a jury properly. And everyone else in the house managed a jury. I don't know what there is to do to manage a jury.
Megan, do you think he blindsided people? I don't think he did. I don't remember feeling like you...
Like, why?
Like you really screwed people. Like, you looked them in the eye and said, I promise you
think the thing was, I was very honest with Indy. I was like, I don't think you have my vote. That was so for the jury part, I think it was just like, I was really close friends with a lot of people that felt like,
keep going, sorry.
Oh, no, my bad. It was like, okay, so with Joseph, me and Joseph were really close friends throughout the entire time. And I did end up being a contributing factor to voting him out. And same with Alyssa. But at the end of the day, I was like, okay, if I need to make cutthroat decisions, vote my friends out, I'm going to see him afterwards. And it's like, I'm just doing what I have to do to add to my resume. And I wasn't necessarily in the business of giving sympathy votes when I knew someone was going to be out anyway. Because then I was just going to be hurting the person in the house's game more so than the people leaving.
Right. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah. And so I think that a lot of... And also, it helps when you win HOH to build to a resume, but at the end of the day, you still have to kick people out of the house. And no one's going to get kicked out of the house and be happy about it. So it was definitely tough to navigate for me personally because Megan told me that it was on Twitter a lot. Like, when someone was about to leave the house, it seemed like I cut ties because I was just, like, mentally somewhere else now. It's like, all right, you're leaving. I'm over here now. So I think I could have eased people into things better. And but since then, either way, I have a fruitful relationship with 99% of the cast, maybe except for Daniel, who I haven't talked to yet. But everyone else, I love and care for them all. I'm very friendly with everyone, even the people who are not happy with me in jury, like Joseph. Even like we're all super close friends and we're hanging out every day now. And they all get it totally. I was like, dude, my bad. And Joseph
They have to get it. They've seen it.
Of course.
Everybody should just like
It's the
drop
game,
it. It's
and-
a game, and you either win or you sacrifice yourself for somebody else.
Oh, absolutely.
To win. Like,
and even with like Jasmine, I think a lot of people would not expect we would be as close as we are. But since we've been out of the house, we're like hanging out in Santa Monica the other day. I love hanging out with Jasmine. She is one of the coolest people to
so
hang
great.
out
She's
with outside the
hilarious.
house. Yeah.
I knew it would be that way. I was like, they're gonna come up to each other and have a good laugh.
Yeah, exactly. We want to record a podcast soon. Like we're just trying
A
to.
lot of people that have been asking.
Everyone
for that.
asked for a podcast.
right.
Like my Instagram post today, like blew up because it was just me and Jasmine and a bunch of clips of us.
I saw.
And-
We saw you and Jasmine on it.
Yeah,
It
and
was like-
no, that girl is incredible. I can't co-sign her enough. She's,
Oh, nice.
Maybe we
See
can't
that?
we don't fit for roommates, but for friends, she's awesome.
Oh yeah, you're
yeah.
right. Because like
Exactly.
even like I think about it, you can only really be with your friends like so much time, and before they drive you nuts.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yes,
I've
yeah.
lived with my best friends in life before, outside the game, of course, like roommate situations. And even with some of my best friends, I'm like, dude, I hate living with you, even as much as I love you. So, especially when
Love
it's
that.
strangers and you don't even know them ahead of time. I mean, that's the point. They
Right.
cast people specifically for arguments and friendships, and like whether it was Jasmine or like I didn't expect to be as close with Pooch as I am now. I love that kid.
He seemed like a sweetheart. Honestly, I was just like,
Oh, yeah.
They did what they did was like this montage right before. I think
I
the
can
producers
picture
were
it.
like, let's make him look really kind of silly. So like,
Mm-hmm.
let's do a montage of how he's looking at the camera. Look at me, camera. This is the
Yeah,
face
I've
of a
seen
winner.
that, yeah.
And like things like that. That you're like, this is the face of somebody who won't ever get voted.
Oh yeah,
And for him to have like sat, to volunteered, it was just
that was
kind of
crazy.
It was poetic.
I think
justice.
it was
That's
very
so
Pooch
crazy.
of himself. That
Yeah.
was so him. I love it. And then to get back to the topic of Kyle that you asked about just
Yeah.
a moment ago.
I want to talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
that. Because
yeah,
I just
go
want to
crazy
say
with
this.
it.
So, as a viewer, and Megan, I want your opinion too.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to give your opinion? Because I know you're
Oh
kind
yeah.
of. Because the way I looked at it was when you watched it at first, I was like, well, the cookout did exist last year, and nobody knew about it. They were so on the DL, and it was an alliance based on their race, and that's just what it was, and everybody knows. So the way they showed Kyle, he was kind of like speculating. So at first I was like, well, it's okay to speculate that maybe there's an alliance going on. What's the problem? Because the cookout existed last year. Then I think a few days passed, and I was like, you know what? I think about it. There was no my put there was no reason to think that those people they based on the people that were being put up and based on what you were
Yeah.
saying. And I was like, and you know what? The idea of somebody trying to form a white alliance and making that up just to form a white alliance. That's when I was like, that is some fucked up dark
Definitely.
shit.
Do you mind?
So that's
yeah.
when I was like, I see it from that side, and that is really messed up. But I was like, I don't know anything, but I think it was probably really hard for it. So anyway, and what did you think before he tells us because he was there?
Well, I think if you're looking at the players, you can clearly tell who's not working with another person. So to just group everyone together when you just know those people don't
Yeah.
have those relationships, it's that's really not a great thing to do, obviously, and it's
Right.
another thing to group all of the white people together without them even knowing,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
Be
trying
like,
to think
"Let's
of that in
all
your head.
us
And
whiteys
he,
get together."
yeah,
Yeah.
and he didn't obviously
Yeah.
didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, do you mind?
I was
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I
up
was
until then, I had a final two with Kyle, and I felt really close with him. And so then when all this broke out, and I realized he's using my name in this light and talking about an all-white alliance, I honestly felt very hurt. One, that clearly I didn't know
Yeah.
Kyle as well as I thought I did, because I never would have expected someone I was close with and could have got a read on. Now, I will say Kyle was very paranoid throughout the season. At all times,
Right.
anytime you got the chance to question something,
He was
whether
totally
there's people in the
paranoid, right?
leftovers or waking me up early in the morning with a blanket wrapped around his head saying, Turner, we got to make a plan. I was like, oh, this is
Oh
too
my
much.
gosh,
But
he's crazy.
yeah, well, either way, I would never co-sign Kyle's actions. I think it was pretty
No.
disgusting. And even if you are not aware of the fact that you're being racist, that's not enough. I
No, I
think
agree.
segregation to any point is totally inappropriate, especially in a game that CBS has made so much progress throughout the years, and even in their casting decisions as of late. I think it's amazing what they're doing and trying to do, and I think it was totally uncalled for what Kyle did. So even going into that week before I knew this. I never would have expected Kyle was someone I would have taken out. He was my final two.
Right, that's
But
what I
when
was
when
saying,
this
because you-
information
that was
was
your HOH.
presented to me, that I didn't consider any other
other
option.
option.
It was like, okay, well then I can't have someone that is thinking this way in this house, using my name in this light, having any racist thoughts in a house that is clearly so progressive other than this. And I
Yeah.
care for all of the people in the house. So, no, it was a no-brainer at that point. And I hope that I think Taylor did a really good job specifically at easing Kyle into progressing through outside the house just personally. And I hope Kyle's journey is nothing but a linear path up. And I hope he takes the time to just digest and see why he had these thoughts and just kind of grow as a person.
Because I missed a couple episodes, and he goes
Kyle
through
was
them
basically paranoid, and he's like, I don't know, maybe Taylor and Bryan, Joseph and Monty and Jasmine and Indy. I think they might have, I don't know, they might be doing some cookout-esque type stuff. And then he was talking to Michael, and Michael was just sitting there like,
And
I'm going to let you talk, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to, and now I want to
And
hear what you think about
equally,
when Michael decided to drop that bomb, because Michael was already off the hook by the
Yeah.
time he dropped that bomb. So
Yeah.
that's what I think is interesting. 'Cause people
And
are like,
that, I think-
that was manipulative, but I want to know what you think.
That I think at the end of the day, it isn't enough to just not be racist. If you are not going against the specific grain to then push someone the other way,
Right.
then you're not doing your due diligence as a person, especially as someone with a platform, right?
Right.
So I think it was wildly inappropriate for that to be used as a game move. If I had any inclination that my friend was thinking this way, I would have set him straight. I would have talked with the
That's
people
what
that
I
it
feel
would
like
have
Michael never
affected.
said to him, dude, don't think
Yeah.
about this. You know, that's what I'm saying. But I thought that was kind of devious of Michael
Yeah.
to be like letting him go on
Well,
and
he's a game
on.
player.
And,
He's a shark.
yeah, he
Yeah.
was really
You know?
wanting to win desperately. And I just thought that, like, that didn't do him any favors.
Yeah,
as a person.
I can agree, and I think it made a divide in the house that wasn't necessarily needed. But I don't think that there is any ill will in Michael's heart by any means. I just think he was putting the game above something he shouldn't have.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, again, this house creates environments where you don't exactly know what to do, and I will never even give Kyle. I don't think would ever justify his actions now, having been through this incredible journey he's going on. But I could never even see where he's coming from with that. At least with Michael not sharing the information, I can just give him plausible deniability of him with a goal of money, I guess. It wouldn't have been me, and I never would have, but to each their own, and I wish it played out differently for Michael's sake. And I don't feel as close with Michael, Brittany, or Kyle as I once did, and I don't think that relationship will ever mend the same. But, you know, I hope that on their own journey they find time to see all of this.
Remind me who Brittany is.
Oh, dude.
Brittany,
dude.
You know Brittany, the crazy Austin girl.
Oh, Brittany, the hypnotherapist. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm like so blanking because towards like the end it was just you three, and I always thought of Brittany as like a flyby. Like
But
just,
you always said, like, he was like, she's so Austin, isn't she? And I was like,
she
she
is.
Like,
She really is.
Going to Austin a few times,
Austin.
she really represents Austin. But like, she was super sweet too. I mean, they're
Yeah.
all
At the end of the
they're all
day,
good
everyone
people.
is
Everyone's
just
just
people
like,
trying to play a game.
How can I ask you, like, how, like, when you're in that house, how much of it is just there must be so much down.
Oh yeah,
where you're
like I
just
mean,
bored.
of course it's just a couple hours a week that's shown. A lot of the time we're just kind of hanging out. Like some game stuff happens, of course, when we play the veto and we do the picking players and everything that's shown and the HOHs. But like 80% of the time it's kind of just chilling, right?
And how much time do do you have interaction with the production crew? Like, how does that work with like and your outfits and stuff? Do they do your guys' hair? Does somebody shave
Oh no,
for you?
no.
Or anything?
We get like outfits and stuff dropped in the storage room, and then we know when like comps are. We get like a 10-minute, 20, 30-minute warning, and then it's like, okay, you have a comp this day. We all know what time and what day we have our comps. We know to be up early for picking player ceremonies. We know to be up at a time for a veto. At an HOH is going to be after the live. It's very like it's not a lot of back and forth between production and the players. Is kind of like we just kind of play the game that is Big Brother,
Right.
and I think that's probably the very most I can say about that specific topic.
Of course.
I think one of my favorite comp outfits that you wore was the punk one where
Oh,
you
yeah.
had the
Oh,
black
yeah.
lipstick.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
I thought it
looked
was
great.
just so iconic
Yep.
and it was so cool.
I
Totally agree.
It
totally
was-
agree.
it was
I'm wearing the
really
Punkaroo
cool.
boots right
Yeah.
I,
now.
know. I
Oh
love
my
this. What is this?
God.
Is this like part of some like where did you get these?
Yeah, so
straps
let's
and
do
all
my
this?
outfit of the
Yes,
day.
yes,
So,
yes.
all right,
Let's
this
check
is
it
a Sus Boy t-shirt that I thrifted at Buffalo Exchange in Santa Monica. This is the Doc Martens are from Punkaroo, which was the veto that ended up kicking Indy out that week on Taylor's HOH. And then these pants are from Kyle in his Punkaroo outfit, because a lot of people would keep their outfits. Some people would give them back to production. Kyle would usually give them back to production, but he gave me these pants as a gift. So these are Kyle pants. Now mine, this I think was a Terrence belt from that same comp. And
That's
then, yeah, so I am dressed up in a lot of different ways, but somehow it's
It
cohesive.
totally works.
It's
Those
so
are like,
Yeah.
those are hot.
A lot of
Those
compliments
are
today
awesome.
too.
Yeah,
A lot of
these pants got compliments
Who wouldn't
all the
keep
time.
Everything.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, definitely.
Dude, I want an exact same pair.
I really
Yeah.
like that. And that's not even my
You need
thing,
to
but
sell
like
them
you
at
can
the
pull it
thrift
off.
shop.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No,
They-
you can never sell
No,
these
the
exact ones.
the Big Brother stylists, whatever team does that, is incredible. So I
Yeah.
walked away with a lot of drip for sure.
Well,
I
listen,
love
speaking of
that.
fashion, another thing I wanted to say was I was cracking up at you because I always, and you probably do too, and you do, I'm sure you do, you know, because I'm with you. Like when the thing comes up, you try to memorize the colors or whatever. Like let me see if I get it right. You
Yeah.
know, red, yellow, yellow.
Like on
But
Laser
the
Focus.
when Julie's outfits.
Oh yeah,
I could
that
see
was
every time
I
you
was
were
like, I
like-
have no idea.
But there was the one competition when you had it right and you were
That
doing
was
this move
Laser
and like,
Focus.
ah.
Yeah, that was on the double. That
My
was
favorite move.
Yeah,
That
I
was-
love that
that
move.
was
You're
so
like,
funny.
yeah.
That was
So
hilarious.
good.
Yes.
I was like, that is so iconic.
I know.
I
love
was like,
it.
I
We
hope
need
he
a
does it every
boomerang.
time.
Yes,
Three
it was
times.
great.
It was amazing.
I have so many gifs of just like I'm consistently just as a replacement of LOL in the Big Brother 24 group chat. I just throw me dancing in there as
Yeah.
a gift.
Oh my
No,
God.
I see that all the
They
time.
should throw more of you dancing. But and then just on the same thing, the Julie one was funny because it was like, I watched it and it was like, you were supposed to memorize all that? And then
Yeah,
like every
right.
time they had do something, you were like,
I know, and then it was like I had to
Yeah.
memorize the
Yeah.
shoes and how many times she snapped her fingers and what outfit
was
she walked in the
crazy.
door,
Yeah.
the
I
Zingbot,
could not.
or
I
the
was
color of
already
the sign.
lost with that whole video. I was like, I could not. I would lose right
Same.
away. Nope, I could
So
not.
wait, when did you say to him that he would be good for Big Brother? Because I can actually just say the same thing just from meeting you. I'm
Mhm.
like, this guy does seem
Yeah,
like,
no, you're
not just like
absolutely
even
right.
if you hadn't done it before, I'd be like, yeah, this guy is like a perfect candidate.
I mean, it was our first year into dating, basically.
Our first, like, month into
yeah,
dating.
month, and I was just because I fell in love with him so fast because I knew he had something special about him, and I felt that energy and the way he talked to everyone and gave love to everyone through like everything he was talking about. Like he just has that energy, so I knew he had the potential of going on the show, so that's why I was like, listen, buddy.
Yeah.
Audition.
It'll come through, and it did come
Yeah,
through. Like it's
definitely.
in like in your eyes, you're smelling everything, and even the way you look at things and stuff, you do feel that. You're so right.
And
Like,
Yeah.
he's
he's got
super
this, like-
genuine.
you're like,
because
Jesus
there
Christ.
were
Yes.
some- there were some people I think in the past that they didn't really. I don't know. I remember watching a couple episodes.
In
and
the
I'm like,
beginning, like I've watched, so I went to London, and then I got like, so I got into like the UK Big Brother was if you ever watch UK Big Brother,
Mhm.
which no longer exists, but
Oh.
that exists. That exists.
Like, huh.
So you know, it started in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Endemol, you know, I'm sure you know this is a Dutch company that started in Amsterdam, and then when the UK got their hands on it, the UK version was very different. It was much more of like a social experiment. You didn't have a head of household. You had. You weren't. The craziest thing is you're not allowed to even talk about nominations.
Oh well.
In fact, you'd get punished if you ever talked about
Whoa.
nominations. And so each week on a certain day, every person goes into the diary room and they nominate 2 people. And nobody's allowed to know. And if you are ever caught talking, if the producers or anybody sees you, because they see everything, if you're ever caught talking about nominations, they'll punish you. Like there'll be times where they're like, it was such a mind fuck on the UK one, and it was so much more like they'd be like rate everybody in order from like ugliest to prettiest.
Wow.
Or like most
And
good looking to the
Also,
ugliest.
Indy said the Brazilian Big Brother was
It's a
way
lot
different
different.
too.
Oh, yeah,
it
they're
was like the
all different.
audience votes,
Yep.
not the players.
That's how it is in the UK. So everyone goes up for audition,
Oh.
and then all week long they vote. You know, call up and vote like which one. I think the US one tried to do that season 1, and they said they didn't get people calling in.
I think
So
the
they
way the
changed
players
it.
do it is kind of. I mean, I've only seen the U.S. one, but I will say I like the dynamic. I guess that's why I
I
applied.
love the
Yeah.
US one.
But
because
it
I
sounds
like
like
the
interesting to
competition.
see the different spin-offs on different like
Yeah.
networks or the UK or the Canada. I've heard raving reviews about Canada, so I can
Is the
only imagine
Canadian
what
one
they.
good?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
heard
a lot
it's
of people
great.
do talk about BB Can, and I have never watched it, so I think that's one of the things
I
I,
think-
have to
yeah,
do.
I think I'm gonna
would
check it out,
watch
too.
I would totally watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, the earlier, I guess, like so the earlier seasons of the US one were definitely more. I don't know. Sometimes it was like, yeah, I think it was just a lot of like kind of jock dudes and hot girls, and it wasn't as interesting. I think they've gotten more into, let's get like some really, like, I really want to do it, but I'm like, I think I'm too old. I don't know. But I'm like,
how old are you?
I want to do like Survivors. Like, I just
How
love
old
the
are you?
competition.
47.
I'm 47. I just
Same
turned
age
47.
as Terrence.
way.
So Terrence is 47.
Yep.
Oh, good to know.
There you go.
I'm gonna apply.
Yeah.
Wow, yes.
I think you should definitely.
Yeah.
Because
Wait, and
I'm like,
Megan, did you apply? Have you applied?
No, funny enough, like everyone, you know, you've seen the tweets and everything. They're like BB25, and I'm like, honestly, I don't know.
You're
if I
so
can
cute.
handle
No,
it.
do it. That would
I
be
know,
amazing.
but like he even knows, like I have like my social, like I need my alone time. Like I need to just
Yeah,
rebuild
right.
myself and recharge. So like if I don't have that, I might go insane.
Right.
So,
I
but maybe
could
that'd be good
totally-
TV. Who knows? But
Because
you
you
know.
really did make her a personality. Like, people knew Megan. Like,
Well,
don't think
I hold
Man,
Megan in
that's how
such
I
high
reached out.
regards,
Which
so
is
I
amazing.
couldn't.
I
There's
love
no
that you
other
did
way I
that.
could go. I'm
So
talking about
amazing.
Megan every day in that
Yeah,
house.
17th house
That
guest,
is-
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
So-
awesome.
So let me know. Can you plug the rug?
Rug Shack?
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yes,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
All right, so the Rug Shack in Bridgewater, Massachusetts, 1 in a million thrift store, coolest thrift store you're ever going to see, specifically in New England. If you're in the Massachusetts, Bridgewater, New Bedford, or North Attleboro area, go check it out. It's a thrift store, art store, and if you're a local artist, you can perhaps sell with us, but otherwise, if you are someone just looking to spend money, come on, get some cool art, have a fun experience, and just hang out.
Nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You're so
The
awesome.
Rug Shack. I'm gonna be
Yes.
checking out the. I will buy something from the Rug Shack if I like it.
Perfect.
You said there's like, art, it's all like, there's
It's
like
like
stuff
art,
that's
there's-
art. and
yeah,
It's
it's
all local too. It's all local art, so it's a way for us to like kind of bring the community
Which I love.
together. So
Yeah.
it's
like
really
you can
nice.
see, like I buy pieces all like whenever I go to like cities and stuff. So like I like
Yeah.
to get. I just as long as you got some good stuff with the color in it.
Hell yeah,
I'd be
dude.
down to buy
Yeah.
something.
Well, you know, it's funny. I talked to your mom real quick, and I
Oh,
said
really?
my friend who took a job in Boston moved to North Attleboro.
Oh, what are the odds of that?
I
dude?
know, and I was like, when she said, "Oh, I'm from North Attleboro," I was like, I've been trying to get to North Attleboro because my friend, he's like, I just built this townhouse. He's like, I want you to come. It's really nice. And like, you know, he's my age. He's 32, I think now.
Mhm.
And he's just like so proud of it. And I'm like, yeah, it would be nice. But it's just like when you have limited time to fly into Boston, say you're going to Cape Cod or
Oh,
P-Town,
yeah.
Right.
you're like, North Attleboro's
I know, it's like so close to Rhode Island at that point,
Yes.
so then it's like you're
Yeah.
going way off the beaten path.
Right. So, I mean, you'll have to check out sometime when you guys get some free time. The Bro Pit on YouTube. We did a
Mhm.
vlog across the country
Oh, wow.
last
Wow.
summer.
That's incredible.
And
Yeah.
he started it, so that's his business.
So,
This
and
is
all of these
mine.
are like so he would
Mhm.
like and yeah and I so all of his art because this is officially his baby but they'll all be on
Yeah,
the
I'm not
Bro Pit.
letting him be like
Bro
a
Pit channel.
co-host.
Oh,
He's a
yeah.
specific Robin to my Howard
I was
Stern.
like, I
love
told
it.
him, I was like, I can't. I was like, I'm really gonna.
Even though this is
I'm
his
gonna
like
bulldoze
episode.
because I was
Yeah.
like, I know so much about Big Brother that's gonna be hard for me to keep my mouth shut. So, he
Which
was like,
I'm
it's
so
okay.
glad because, you know, I've really got to appreciate Big Brother, and
Mhm.
this season was one of my favorites.
Oh, hell
I
yeah.
A lot of
like-
people
I
said
think
that.
it's
It
the
really was.
cast.
A lot of
Hell
people
yeah.
said
Yeah.
that. Yeah. That
And
it
I
was, like,
really
one of the
started
best
out thinking I
seasons.
didn't like the cast at first. I was
Mhm.
like I said, when Jasmine broke her foot, I was like, there was something about the first 2 episodes where I was like, I don't know about this cast, and then it just completely turned around. I was like, this is the best cast ever.
Hell
This
yeah,
is the
dude.
best season in years, honestly. And I felt emotionally invested, which is
Oh,
why.
dude, I'm
It's
I'm
great.
glad.
And that's
I
why
think- I
he
guess
like
that's
reached
the
out to
goal.
Megan. Like he was like, "Oh my god!" Like because we kept
I'm
like.
glad you did reach out to
Turner,
Megan because
Turner.
I am so bad at reading DMs. I have like
yeah.
thousands of
Well,
Yeah,
he
I
was-
get,
he
I
was
get,
gonna
a,
just
I
say
get a good
podcast
amount less,
Megan
so
because he was
it's
like,
Yeah.
way easier
Yeah.
to reach me.
Well,
than
you
him.
know, the only reason I was going to say that is because I originally wanted to reach out to you because I remember kind of thinking about like, oh my god, these girls that like I'm seeing now get married, and I remember thinking like, oh, I wasn't ever good enough for them because like I was bi, and I think that was like something that was maybe like insecurity about me, and I was like thinking, oh, I want to talk to you about that because you know, like I have a lot of people that have opened up over the years, and they were just like, I don't know if I could actually like come out because like then once you come out, then you can't like go back with like having that stigma of, oh, well, you might be just on your way to
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
being fully
like Sex in the
gay.
City is like, oh, they're just like
I
that's like a
told
layover.
that
Like,
when you were
but because my thing is like this is something interesting because I want to ask you because it's like I feel like there's a double standard because I know a lot of girls that are bi and they're like, and I remember on the Housewives. Do you watch the Housewives?
No, I didn't.
So on the Housewives, there was like these
No.
there were
Don't
two
start.
housewives that are making out, and they're doing all this.
addicting, huh?
Yeah, they were doing all this stuff, and they both were married. They both had kids, and they're making out at a club, and I'm like, is anyone? And then nobody cared. And the husbands were like, good for you. Yeah, which I was there watching it, and I was like, if the roles were reversed and it was two husbands making out, I think the wives would have been mortified. You know what I mean? I was like, I think there's a double standard on. This is the one time where the double standard is like where men I think get the raw end of it, where it's like everyone should be open to, and we all shouldn't apply what we think about sexuality to everybody else because we don't know.
Yes.
And like he's bi, you're bi. Like I'm like when people say they're bi, you have to accept it. But there's a lot of people that are like, no, you got to choose a side, and it's like, no, that's because you feel that way. But you cannot apply how you feel to somebody else. And for me, it did take growing to learn about that, you know, with people, because even my ex was bi and was like 100% like, no, I'm bi, and it's like, wow, you really are, you know. I just think it's a great message that you're putting out there to say, don't make judgments about other people. You have no idea how they feel, and guys should be given that sort of same respect that I think women are given, because I think women aren't judged as much for it.
Yeah, I think that growing up, I don't think in the house we watched this movie called Bros, and I think a big point of contention in this movie that is not released, so September 30th, you can watch it as well.
Yeah.
In
Oh
the
yeah,
theaters.
Bros, you guys watch that? Oh,
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
watched
know
that, and
That's
a
awesome.
big point of
I have to
contention
see it.
between Billy Eichner, right? Yeah, Billy Eichner, and the family of his boyfriend was that this teacher was not teaching kids about LGBTQ stuff from an early age because she thought it was inappropriate, and I think the point of the movie was to show that that is what you should be doing, introducing topics that might be uncomfortable or blasé at a certain age younger, so then everyone's introduced to it at a young age, and I think that is probably for all tough topics what should be the case.
Always.
Whether it is just so like as humans, I think part of the human condition is to see something new that you're uncomfortable with and kind of point and laugh or kind of
100%.
ostracize that, make it the black sheep of your reality. And so I think introducing topics younger, I think, is the way to kind of navigate that and introduce it when they're young so that it's normal.
So it's not weird because like
Yeah.
I'm older, right? And I grew up with not seeing it, so it was weird. And I remember in the '80s with like, you know, and it was funny because like I'm one of 4 boys. I mean, I have a gay brother as well. And I had girlfriends where he never did. You know, so we're all on different parts of the spectrum. And then my 2 older brothers are 100% straight. The point is, I mean, I grew up with like Oprah Winfrey be like, on the net in the 80s, I'm the next Oprah Winfrey show. 2 gay men. And it was like, and you know, I remember watching it and being like, whatever, you know. And so these have just come so far. But the reason it was because it wasn't in the media. You need to see people. You need to see all walks. Like even now, transgendered now, I see these, and I'm like, it's not, you know, after Laverne Cox, she's the one that from Orange is the New Black, whatever, she's the most famous one. I'm like, it becomes more normal, so just put it in media.
Yes.
Then it's not some dirty or some making people to feel like it's some weird secret or some weird thing at all, because it's not. Like nothing is weird.
Yeah, especially
it's
with
all just like human.
especially with being trans. I think there's been a lot of progress made, and this is just me as an outside perspective. Of course, I am not, but
Me too,
I think even when you're 100 meters into a race with 400 left to go, it can look daunting, but I'm proud of just that society has been more open to such topics, and I think there's a long way to go, a long race still left to run, or a long ladder left to climb, but I think progress in any stage is good. So I'm very excited to see what the future has for all of that.
Amazing.
Awesome. Well,
I'm,
thank you so
you guys
much
are
for
so
joining.
yeah.
Mocktails are
Yeah.
messy.
Wait, can I ask you?
absolutely.
Did you not like my coffee? Did I do something wrong with it?
Well, okay, listen. I
tell
am
me.
very okay.
I'm humiliated.
Be honest.
Yes.
Uh-oh, what did I
Listen,
do?
if the Big Brother house taught me anything, is that honesty is
Yeah,
totally
tell me,
fine.
what
So
did I do?
I am very picky about what coffee I drink. House guests would make coffee, and I'd be like, "What the hell?" Like I remember Joseph made. I love Joseph, one of the best people I've ever met, but did not make good coffee. And so I think Monty was actually similar. And so it was just very. My palate is not built for what you have made. I'll say that.
Okay,
How
so
about
you
that?
know what it is, and tell me if
Yeah.
this is wrong. I foamed the milk, but cold. It was cold, and I foamed it.
Actually, I liked that. That was the saving grace to
So I
it.
wonder what happened. It was just the
Maybe it was just the brew,
type,
the type.
the
There's
brand.
so many
Oh,
things
yeah,
with
He is
coffee.
very specific because he drinks it all the time, so he knows
I-
what he
I
likes.
I'm
drink
so
like
sorry. I
4 or 5
saw it,
a
and then I
day.
was like, is he just talking? And then I was like, I think I screwed up.
But listen. The thing was, I loved the Red Bull you provided and the LaCroix, so you are 66%. And,
There you go.
And
There
wait,
you go.
listen.
He'll drink this. He's obsessed with
If-
coffee tales.
if
you
this-
didn't touch it, I will drink it.
Yes,
Oh
and
my
if this
God.
is the final three of Big Brother, I am the set aside coffee. So exactly. Listen, but we still love the Red
Yeah.
Bull and
You
the
should
LaCroix.
have won, dude. Oh
Dude,
my
thank
God.
you. I appreciate that.
You know what's great, by the way? Maybe you could do the challenge in that.
Yeah,
that would be so much fun, wouldn't it?
I talked to one or two producers from different shows, and I have expressed that if I am asked to do any other show, whether it's an All-Star season of Big Brother, whether it's the challenge, the Amazing Race, or anything. I've seen a lot of Amazing Race with Megan and I, and I've also seen a lot of Amazing Race with Pooch and I love both. So
I think
you
you
and
and Pooch-
Megan should do the Amazing Race.
I think that, but also
That's
him
a
and
good
Pooch too. I think would be.
me and Pooch yell at each other in pool. We were going at it. So I think both would be incredible for different
it'd
reasons.
be a completely whole different experience for me.
It would
I've
be-
never been out of the country, so it'd be a really crazy experience for me. And
Yeah.
I am a homebody, but I'd be really stepping outside my comfort zone. But you know,
And
But that's why it'd be
simultaneously-
good for
times-
TV. 'cause
Yeah.
a
you'd
lot
be,
of
like,
times,
completely-
you know,
it'd be
yeah,
fun to watch you.
it's always good to step out of your comfort zone.
And also,
try
we
new
did do
things.
van life, so I think
Yes.
they would.
That
and
That
they
was
would
a
enjoy
great
that.
first step.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, so
Who
I think
knows?
we are rugged in that sense. We can go through tough environments. I backpacked. I've slept outside.
Are
for,
you
like,
van
a week at a
lifing
time.
it right now? Have you
Oh
been?
no, the van sold. We're
How long
rug
did you
shack.
van life it?
I mean, we did it. I did it in 2020 and 2021. It was kind of like a pandemic thing.
That's so cool because I could totally live in like an RV or something.
Yeah, no, an
I think
RV
it's
would have
cozy.
been dope.
Or a
cool.
camper or something.
It was a lot of fun.
You know, I've never seen the country, so just like go through,
And
like,
just-
and just see everything. It was
Yeah.
really great.
Did you go to Yosemite and Yellowstone?
Well,
or-
we stayed a lot of time in Colorado and Utah and kind of that strip down from like Kansas to
right.
St. Louis, and I did Kentucky for a little while. That's why I was always in a Kentucky hoodie in the house. You would always see me.
that's so
I
funny.
once
Yes.
were at Massachusetts, but I just had a Kentucky hoodie, so I got that in when I was van lifing. But Amazing Race, the challenge, Big Brother. I'd come back if I was asked, and I'll come back to this podcast if I'm ever back in LA. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you
dude.
so much.
We're
gonna,
really gonna
Appreciate
promote.
it.
If I have anything to say at the end of this interview, it is that you should always be watching Cocktails Messy.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Mocktails
all right.
messy.
Mocktails or messy.
All right, Mocktails are messy with Bryan and Ryan, specifically
Yeah.
Ryan. It's a dynamic here, but no, either way, dude, it's
I
a
like
great
that too, but-
it's a great podcast, and both of these guys are incredible. So thank you so much for
Thank
having me.
you.
Mocktails with Messy. Oh my God, what is
Mocktails
that?
Mocktails
or messy.
Mom, think of Mom Pod.
Mocktails
Mocktails
or messy.
or
so
messy.
bad.
I was always thinking when I was coming on, I was like, I know it's messy mocktails. So mocktails,
Yes.
messy, whatever it is, these guys.
There you go.
Listen, they're awesome interviewers, and
Yes,
just thank you so much.
Just another sunny day